Looking for a little bloodshed? Then you've come to the right place. Time for low-level Pathfinder combat at its finest. Grab your stoutest drink and pull up your comfiest chair. And remember, all bets are final, and the GM always wins. Hello, friends, and welcome. I am GM Coblin, and we have a sight for you. I will be taking a step-by-step through a combat encounter to explain the movement and combat rules I went over in my last two videos. If you have not seen my last two videos, remember to take a look, as they should provide some knowledge on the intricate and rewarding combat system that we use in Pathfinder. I will be using FoundryVTT to run my battle map. I will not be using any real advanced rules or large amounts of cover or the like to keep things fairly simple. The hopes is that this will mimic low-level combat for your average Pathfinder game. And if I get enough requests in the comment section, I can show combat at higher level for adventurers. Also, if anyone has any questions about the system that we use, Foundry, an amazing system, that you can find endless information about it on the internet through a Google search or through YouTube. But if requested, I can also make some specific videos over the function of Pathfinder in the Foundry VTT system. But for now, let me take you to our adventure. And this is our adventuring party. We have a fighter, we have a cleric, we have a ranger, and we have a wizard. After a long day of adventuring through dungeons, our party has separated and broken from their normal lineup in their marching order. Wizard out front for one reason or another, not advised. And let's continue their march through the dungeon and see what they find. So, as we come up to this point, they meet their encounter. This is an ogre. This ogre, as they get close, is going to spring a trap. The rock is going to move out of the way, and we are going to start combat. All characters in the party have rolled perception check to see if they were able to see the ogre from his hiding position. You're to roll initiative for everybody. Then start encounter. Now, as I previously stated in my last video, we're going to consider this as a surprise round. The only character to see the ogre would have been the ranger. Being that the ogre created the surprise and started the encounter, the ranger saw the ogre as the encounter started. The other three adventurers did not. Therefore, during this surprise round, we will go in order by those that can see or had seen each other. So, being aware, we go directly to the ogre. The ogre having a 2-square reach. Each square is considered 5 feet. And normally, a creature has an attack of 1 square in all directions. A ogre, being a tall, large creature, is going to have a 2 square in all directions. This means that anyone that is inside of this radius is going to be in a threatened square, and therefore he can hit them. It is the ogre's turn. We are going to target the wizard. We are going to do the only thing he wants to do, which is attack the wizard. Remember that in a surprise round, outside of your free or swift action, the only thing that you may do is 1 movement or 1 standard action. So we are going to do it. Get our attack. All right. So ogre had an attack of 23, and the wizard's AC is only 13 normally. Remember that because he has not acted yet in combat initiative, he is considered flat-footed. Flat-footed meaning he does not have his normal mobility modifiers like dexterity and dodge added to his AC. His Haramaki or armor, if he was wearing any outside of this, or shields, would apply to his flat-footed. But since he has a flat-footed of 11 and we rolled a 23, he's going to hit. He hits a mighty blow of 16 points of damage. 16 points of damage against our wizard takes him below half. Not looking good. Since he has nothing else to do for this turn, we are going to go ahead and move to our ranger. Our ranger, who was holding her bow, of course, the entire time, is going to target the ogre, and she is going to shoot her bow. There's nothing blocking her. The ogre is in range. She is going to shoot. She rolls a 24. Ooh, but she rolls a 1 for damage. So 1 point of damage. And then we move on. It starts us back over at the top of the initiative. Since we have already gone through the 2 characters that could function during the surprise round, and we start over, the cleric, being at the top of the initiative, is going to start us off. And remember an initiative score with the roll of your dex or any additional modifiers that you may have. You go from highest to lowest. Now, we are going to cast a quick buff spell. Oh, spell stuff. This spell allows him to divide up the buff in minute increments up to his level. So since he's level 3, he can give 1 minute of this buff to each and every member that is close to him, himself, and to the 2 party members that is next. Now, this spell gives them an additional 2 AC, at least that's what's important in this encounter, against evil creatures, believing that the ogre is evil. This turned our fighter's AC against this creature from a 21 to a 23. Now, He has used his action for the turn. He does not have a swift action, but he does have a movement action. So he is going to move. Remember that your movement is going to be different for characters as well as what armor you have. If you were wearing medium or heavy armor, your speed is going to be slower than normal. Being an average medium-sized creature, most creatures are going to have a 30 land movement speed. He is wearing heavy armor, therefore he is going to have a 20 movement speed. Our fighter also has a 20 movement speed. Our ranger, on the other hand, who is wearing light armor, has a 30 movement speed. Now, we are going to move up in an attempt to help our party. He moves up. Remember that square, front, back, side to side is 5 feet. And then it is going to be different for going side to side. First square is going to be 5 if you're going diagonally. So every square in this right around you is 5. Afterwards, it is 15, so it's an additional 10. Then it rotates back down to another 5. So 5, 10, 15. This continues in that pattern all the way. You can change your movement in your normal movement distance any way you like during a combat. All right, next we go to the fighter. The fighter, wanting to get to the action, wishes he could charge, but charging requires a straight line. Also remember, charging gives you double your movement. It lowers your AC by 2, but it allows you to make an attack at the end of your charge. Since he can't charge, thanks to Cleric, we are going to move around and he will for 20. Now, he is going to ready an action. He's going to ready swinging his sword, so he has one action left. He chooses to ready an action with the trigger of when the ogre comes within sword distance, striking distance for him, which is going to be 5 feet, that he is going to swing his sword to hit the ogre. Next, we, not wanting to die, wizard is going to try and get away. The wizard, knowing that he is in threat of the ogre, he knows that if he tries to just move more than 5 feet in any direction for his entire movement, so a 5-foot step would mean that he could move right here. That would be all his movement for the round. He decided he wanted to make a full movement, so 15 or 30 feet away, run as fast as he could, then he would provoke an attack of opportunity from the ogre. Let's show that. So he's going to attempt to run behind his friends, or you can move ally squares. As long as you do not stop on the ally, they do not interfere. So he is going to attempt to run past his friend, hoping that they will save him. Doing this is going to provoke an attack of opportunity. So technically, before he leaves the square, the ogre gets another attack. The ogre rolls a 13, which is enough to hit our wizard's AC. Unfortunately for the wizard, he also rolled 13 points of bludgeoning damage. This means that our wizard is in the negative. Remember, as I stated in our last video, that between 1 and your max HP, so 26, for the wizard or anybody, between 1 and your max HP, you are going to be able to act as normal. When you are at 0 HP, you are going to only be able to take a single action for your turn. So only at 0. Now, he, being at negative, is not only unconscious, but that technically makes him helpless. As I stated in the last video, your death occurs at negative your constitution score. Not your modifier, but your score under 0. So at -3, he is still alive. He is just considered dying. We're looking to get him stable or to heal him. At -16, the wizard actually dies, and, well, there's nothing you can do unless you can resurrect them outside of look through pockets chain. Now, we will worry about what happens with dying. It's his turn again. So, also, sometimes I will put a skull symbol on them so everyone knows they are dying if they are not already, and keep them on initiative tracker. Monsters usually, when they reach negative HP, I remove them from combat entirely, because they're in a dying state, which is extremely vulnerable, and I don't really want my players walking around unconscious NPCs, stabbing in the eye sockets. They're all murder hobos enough. They don't need it. So we're going to move along. It is still the ogre's turn. He, having knocked out the wizard, is going to move up. Now, as he moves up, though he did not have to, because, as we saw, the ogre has a 10-foot reach. He moves up, having seen his last prey flee, or attempt to flee, moves up and wants to make sure that even if they take a 5-foot step, or even if they attempt to retreat and are not threatened in the first square, they would still be within his range, and he would be able to hit them. So it locks them in so that even if they try to get away in their entire turn, he will still get an attack of opportunity. But moving this close is going to what? Going to trigger our ready to action from our fighter. So the trigger was him coming within range. Now the fighter targeting the ogre gets to swing his sword. Normal attack. The fighter rolls a 19. Now, the fighter's using a long sword. A long sword has a crit range, 19 to 20. So, if you roll a 19 or a 20, you have the possibility of critting. Now, whenever you roll a 20, it is always a hit. But he rolled a 26, which is more than the 17 armor class for the ogre. So he hit. Now, unlike some other editions, in Pathfinder, you now have to roll another 20-sided die, and that is to confirm our critical. So he rolled a 2, which, with his modifier of 7, only makes 9. So he does not meet the AC of our ogre with 17. Critical modifiers are different for certain weapons. Bows, generally, have a critical modifier of 3. And as a just to remember, whenever you have a crit, you multiply all of the attack times 3. Well, you re-roll and then you add all the bonus. So in the fighter's case, he had rolled a critical. He would have added his strength bonus twice and then rolled the damage twice. So he did not roll a crit, so he struck for 7. We'll take 7 off of our ogre. Good hit. And because of his ready action, we now have to change where he is in initiative. He will go right before the ogre when it comes back around. So we will update him to the correct spot, and we will continue on with the ogre. The ogre has moved. The ogre has no other actions other than to attack. The ogre is going to attack the cleric. He looks less armored. He looks like he can hit him easy. So we attack, and he is correct. He rolls a 25 to hit, which is more than enough to hit our cleric, even though he has a 20 AC now, thanks to his buff. He deals 15 points of damage to the cleric. So that is the ogre's turn. Target, move the ranger. Now, the ranger wants to shoot the ogre. Now, we are going to move a little bit so that we can get a better shot. But just recall, your vision is from the corners of your square, technically all 8, including the 2 at the top, because you're a 3-dimensional creature. So from this corner, and because he is such a large creature, she would be able to draw a line and hit 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corner, 4 corner, which means because of his size, she can target this square. Because of where she is, she could shoot him. We're going to take a step over, because why not? And she is going to shoot at the ogre. Now, because the ogre is in combat with her party and they're at close range, she is normally going to suffer a negative firing into combat. So it would be -4. She has an ability called Precise Shot, which negates this. So she is going to target the ogre. She is going to shoot her bow. And she rolls a 1. A 1 is, and always will be, a miss. 20 is always a hit. A 1 is always a miss. But that only counts in combat. Certain things like checks, it does not come into play. Combat, 1 is always a miss. 20 is always a hit. Back to the top of the round, we're going to have cleric. Oh, the cleric, not wanting to get hit again, is going to take a 5-foot step. You're going to attempt to start to set up a flank on the ogre. He is going to target the ogre. He is going to attack with his mace. He rolls a 20, which hits the ogre. The ogre is going to take 6 points of damage. Now, as you saw, he took a 5-foot step as his movement action. 5-foot step inside a threat range, not provoke an attack of opportunity. If he had attempted to move an additional 5 feet, either to try and flank the ogre that way, or to try and retreat, he would have provoked an attack of opportunity, which, as we saw with Wizard, means he gets a free hit. Now, be advised during combat, whenever an opponent makes an attack of opportunity, in most cases, as I stated in the last 2 videos, there are the rule, the exception. The rule is generally only get 1 attack of opportunity. The exception is, it depends. There are feats and abilities which give you more, but the rule, general case, we're only going to have 1 attack of opportunity. So, instead of attacking, if we had wanted to move our cleric, and he wanted to help the fighter get set up for flanking, then the ogre would have gotten an attack of opportunity. But that wizard. So the wizard is dying. This turn, what the wizard's going to do is he is going to roll a Constitution save to see if he can stabilize. Right now, as we showed, he is at -3, dying. Unless he gets magical healing of some sort, or if he goes to -16, his con score.
Sorry folks, GM Goblin here. Just wanted to say at this point in the video I clicked on a fortitude save and that is incorrect. As I stated in the video, you do a constitution save. Constitution save is 1d20 like everything else, and you add your constitution modifier only. But I rolled a 16, so everything's good. Back to the video.
This means that he is now stable. He is still unconscious. This did not bring him back. This merely meant that he did not lose an additional 1 HP this round. If he had failed it, which is very possible, especially at lower levels, he would have lost 1 additional HP, and he would have had to make the save again. Now, the way this is since he is stable, either he will stay in this state until he is provided healing, or until 1 hour from now, where he will make a save to see if he can wake up. If he fails, then he is going to have to wait another hour before he can make it again. And the bad thing, if he is being tended to, it is very likely, so if he has another player with him or someone to take care of him, even if they're not providing healing methods to him, it is fairly possible that he will be able to stabilize, even at negative HP, and he will still only be able to take a move action or be able to rest, but he can heal normal, which in Pathfinder, you only heal however many levels you are. So he can only heal HP from an 8-hour night's rest. If he was untended and left to die out in the wilderness somewhere, he could continue to bleed, and he does not heal normally. So, would very likely die. Now, we move to the next person in the initiative, which is the fighter. The fighter, wanting to set up the flanking, is going to move around. It's possibly not good idea for him because he could get hit. Then everyone's taking damage. But now, because the cleric, is going to be on opposite sides, he is going to be what's called flanking. Flanking gets you an additional +2 on your attack. You have to be on opposite sides of the creature. If it is a 5-foot creature, then you need to be just on the opposite corner. If it's a large creature, then you have a little leeway with being opposite. So you could have 2 creatures on one side, or 2 NPCs on one side, and then 1 on the other, and you could provide flanking forever. But because he moved more than 5 feet in a threatened area by the ogre gets an attack of opportunity. So, the ogre, getting his 1 attack of opportunity, rolls a 2. A 2 plus his 7 is going to make 9. 9 not hit our 23 for our fighter. So it's a swing, it's a miss, and the fighter gets to set up flanking now for him and his friend. So he swings his sword. I add +2 for flanking, and I attack. Fighter rolls a 17. 17 plus 9 now, not 7, is 26, which means he hits the ogre for 6 points of damage. We are doing some work. All right, now we are back to the ogre. The ogre wanting to finish off make sure I got their piece. Okay, we're good. The ogre, wanting to finish off his opponents, is going to take a 5-foot step. From here, he can take a 5-foot step in directions, but cannot stand on top of his opponents that are not dead. So, take a 5-foot step here if he wants, or go sideways. Right now, he is going to attempt to move slightly, and he is going to try and kill cleric. Woo! 9 plus 7 is going to be a 16. That is going to be a miss. Our cleric is going to live for another day. Now, he has moved. He has made his only attack. And so now we're going to rotate to the ranger. Ranger, having access to a large creature, and as previously stated, being able to draw a line to 4 corners of a square of a creature that she's attacking. She can now attack the ogre. She draws her bow, knocking arrows free action. She fires. All right. 18. 18 plus 7 is going to be 25. So she will deal 3 more points to the ogre. The cleric. Cleric is wounded. The cleric, if he attempts to cast one of his healing spells on himself, like Cure Moderate Wound or Cure Light Wound, to bring his HP up so he's farther from death, while he is within a threatened range of a monster, he is going to take an attack of opportunity. He does not do this. So, the only thing for him to do is either risk losing his last 12 HP or hope they can take down the ogre. Then no one else has any available healing spells in the party. All right. So we rolled a 15. 15 plus 4 for our cleric friend here is going to be 19 total. That is enough to hit the ogre. He is going to deal 4 points of damage to the ogre. And we roll to the wizard. Wizard is still unconscious, but he is stable. He is not dying. He's about as happy as you can hope for. Fighter. So our fighter moves over. Chain flanking again. Remember, opposite sides. Then target the ogre. Attack. We add flanking. We have 11 and flanking, so it's plus 9, so a 20. 20 is going to be a hit, and it's going to do 6 points of damage to our ogre. This is going to take our ogre into the negative. Now, if there are monsters that have any kind of fast healing, regeneration, of the like, you, as GM, are totally fine, totally within your right to keep them possibly on the table so they can be a threat later on. If it has regeneration, like a troll does, when he goes down, he is going to be at -3 and he can regenerate. But since he does not, when we're at a negative number, I just call him dead. Now, since we are all stable, since everyone is not having to make saves for dying, we're going to end combat. After we have ended combat, cleric can go over. The cleric can heal the wizard with a nice cure spell. All right. 13. He is -3, which means when we heal him 13, he is now at +10. As I stated before, between 1 and your max, you will act normal. So he is no longer having to worry about being stable because he is fully refreshed. He might be a little mentally scarred, but other than that, the wizard's going to be fine. That him healing. Also, just as a reminder, if I forgot, if he is negative and he is dying, if you receive any magical healing or someone feeds you a healing potion, you can be stabilized. Also, if someone has a heal check and they perform, and they have the ability to, they can perform a heal check on you, and probably they can perform a heal check on you, and if they are 15 or higher, they can stabilize. So, in a worst case scenario, without any spells and a dying comrade, you can go and take a turn, and you can actually spend your entire turn and stabilize a dying party to save them. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through the world of Pathfinder. I hope you've enjoyed our deep dives into this fantastic game. If you want more Pathfinder content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. If you have any tips or requests, put them in the comments below and check out my other videos. Until next time, may your crits be epic, your adventures legendary, and your gaming table filled with laughter. Remember, the realm of Pathfinder, the only limit, your imagination.